Manchester United have won 2 games in a row. We've got a clean sheet. We've beat Southampton 1-0. Let's go.
Between the lines.
Yes, my Between the Liners, welcome back to the show. Man United have beat Southampton 1-0. We've won back-to-back games in the Premier League for the first time since February. We've stopped our longest away run of defeats in the last 80 years. We've won an away game. We've got a clean sheet. Let's talk about the game. I'm going to start off with the starting lineup and the manager first, like I usually do in these videos. Everyone was gassed after the Liverpool game. This was a bit of a reality check playing Southampton because they're a team closer to Brighton and Brentford rather than Liverpool. So we were waiting to see if United could turn up against a team of this calibre rather than just the emotion and the intensity against a Liverpool team. So we'll start with the starting lineup. Ten Hag went with the same starting lineup as we played against Liverpool. I'd say he probably made the right decision. Obviously, we probably all wanted to see Casemiro in there, but we got to bed him in slowly a little, get him used to the team, get him used to the management. The big question mark was probably of whether Ronaldo would start or not. And Ten Hag made the call to drop Ronaldo, which could have gone either way. So fair play to Ten Hag. We've won the game, so he must have made the right decision at least. One interesting thing might be that McTominay started again. Looks like Ten Hag starting to favour McTominay, which didn't really seem apparent in pre-season. I think everyone thought that Fred was going to be in the starting slot with Eriksen most likely. And also the fact that I want to mention how everyone was crying out for Van de Beek to play before Ten Hag arrived. And now Ten Hag's here and Van de Beek still can't get in the lineup, which I've got serious concerns about Van de Beek because we've still never really seen anything from him. And if Ten Hag doesn't believe in him to start in the opening 3 games of the Premier League season, you have to question Van de Beek's ability or mindset. And I understand he's had a lack of game time, probably low in confidence, but if Ten Hag ain't got the belief in him either, there's some serious question marks around Donny Van de Beek. But starting lineup overall, I thought it was the correct lineup. I think Elanga had to come in and start again because obviously Martial's injured, and the aim to start with a higher intensity forward line was probably the right decision to play against a Southampton team who are always up for it, always give 100%, and maybe Ronaldo might have slowed down our team a little in terms of pressing and intensity. So we move on to the positives of the game. We've won the game 1-0. Big win, big massive clean sheet. Martinez solid at the back again. Varane, I thought had a bit of a quiet game because I didn't really see him putting any last-ditch blocks in, any last-ditch tackling in because he didn't really need to. So you could say he probably marshalled the back pretty well. Martinez was a bit more impactful. You saw him here, there and everywhere, winning challenges, maybe lost a couple which weren't too bad, didn't harm the team too badly. You could see him really riled up. Every time De Gea made a save, anytime De Gea made a save, he's going up, grabbing De Gea up, saying, come on, well done. Like, I love his aggression. Malacia, I thought, had a very good first half, very aggressive, very intense, a huge difference compared to Shaw, who's just like kind of lackadaisical now. One thing about Malacia I want to pick up on is sometimes he rushes in a bit too much, and I hope he learns to cut that side out of his game because his aggression could get him into trouble sometimes. He goes into these last-ditch tackles and doesn't always make them. So he just needs to calm down a little, and I think we've got our hands on a very good, potentially good left-back. Other positives in the game, I'd say in the first half, Christian Eriksen was by far the best player on the pitch and obviously the best player on our team. He was controlling the midfield, picking up the ball in deep and spreading it out wide or passing in between the lines through the middle, finding our midfielders, finding our strikers, and there wasn't a better player technically on the pitch than Christian Eriksen in that first half. And it's a shame because the rest of our team wasn't really on the same wavelength as him, so we couldn't progress as quick as we would have liked or as Eriksen would have liked. But another classy display from Eriksen, I thought. Second half he kind of tailed off a little, but most of the team did, to be fair. Other positive in the first half, I'd say we had good confidence on the ball at the back, but didn't really play out too greatly from the back, I thought. Still some improvement needed. Another positive is, and this is the last 2 games in fact, De Gea has clearly suffering from PTSD or has been told something, has finally got it drilled into his head. In the last 2 games, he's been clearing it out a lot more rather than trying to play it out from the back, because clearly he's not good enough for that. So fair play to De Gea, fair play to the management. They've drilled that into De Gea to not take any risk anymore and just forget this style of play of trying to build up from the back if you're not ready for it. Like, fair play to both of you for learning from your mistakes and clearing it when you have to. It's a big thing to do. Like, I understand we want to play a better style of football and build up from the back, but if we're not ready yet, we're not ready yet. We'll get there slowly. Might even take a new keeper for that. Other than that, positives would be Bruno's goal, which I thought was a great top finish. That's an elite finish. Dalot's cross for that was great as well. That actually started from, there was 2 times we did this, only in the whole game, I think, yeah? And it only came in the second half. First half, there was none of it. The possession and the transition of our attacks in pre-season were based around triangles, and I think Ten Hag's mentioned it in press conferences before as well. We've not really seen that so far in the season, in a competitive season, but in this game, in the second half against Southampton, we saw it twice. I think one was between Elanga, McTominay and Rashford. Coincidentally, like, probably the 3 worst players on our team. They did well, and McTominay ended up getting through and getting a shot on goal on target. Then the second time we actually scored from it. I think, who was it? It was Elanga. I think it was Rashford, Dalot and Elanga maybe, who managed to break through a triangle. Just 3-4 simple passes between themselves on the right hand side, and we're through. Dalot's through with time to pick his head up and look at Bruno. He's picked out Bruno in a plate. Bruno has managed to smash it into the bottom corner with a delightful finish. And my question is, why are we not seeing more of that? Where are the triangles in the play? We saw it a lot in pre-season, and just in the competitive season, it's like the players can't get into their heads. And luckily, straight after the second half, after half-time when we came out, we saw it twice and it led to a goal. We need to see more of that, because other than that, throughout the whole game, let's take it onto the negatives now. Throughout the whole game, I didn't really see any passing and movement in structure or any tactics attacking-wise. It wasn't fluid enough. Like, you see City, you see them go down to the byline all the time and whip it in low and hard. You can see that's their tactic to score goals, and it works for them a lot. If this is our tactic, one, against Liverpool is probably counter-attacks, but against the smaller sides, against teams that are defending more, in low blocks more, mid blocks more, we need to create avenues of play to create chances on a regular basis. We can't just hit and hope. So that triangle, I'd like to think, was a Ten Hag tactic, which led to the goal. If we can do more of that and create more chances in a game, we're obviously more likely to win a game. Because defensively, we're shoring it up a little. Malacia's a change, Martinez is a change, Maguire's out, thank God. Like, listen, Maguire, please just keep staying on the bench, yeah? Dalot is on the right back. I thought Dalot was a slight negative on the game, you know. Yes, he's improved from before, from last season, let's say, but he's still got a long way to go for me. Building out from the back, he's not the greatest. Probably better than Wan-Bissaka though, but his crossing wasn't great, except obviously the assist, so I can't fault him too much for that. And defensively, he was still very questionable. Adam Armstrong is naturally a striker. He's playing left wing today, or left mid today. Got past Dalot with ease quite a few times. Djenepo nutmegged him. Djenepo's a tricky customer for anyone, to be fair, but he got past him pretty easily. I'm just concerned against teams with better wingers and better attackers than Southampton. They will rip Dalot apart, and it makes it harder for the rest of our defence. But I don't want to get onto him too much because he did get the assist. Other than that, the whole team in general allows Southampton so many crosses. I don't know what the stats are on the crosses, but Southampton got too many crosses in, and it was too easy for them. There's not enough blocks. This comes from Malacia's side, Dalot's side. The wingers aren't helping enough. That means the centre midfielder or defensive midfielder isn't close enough either. That means, and you're just allowing the defence to be put under pressure, because teams like Southampton are going to want to put it in the box. We need to try to avoid that. Block the cross, get in front of your man, take him down the byline, get it out for a corner or throw in at least or tackle him. We're allowing too many crosses in the box. One more negative I thought was we were very narrow today. And I don't know, is that was either tactics from the manager or is that Elanga's and Sancho's and Rashford's flaw? Because they're not capable of playing on a wing properly or directly. Elanga, it was just useless pretty much today, other than one triangle he got involved in. His technique is pretty abysmal, unfortunately. He puts in a little bit of a shift, and I think that's why he gets in the team. There's one thing that pisses me off about Elanga, actually, yeah. I don't want to criticise him too much. He's youth academy, he's a young boy, yeah. But every time he gets tackled and he loses the ball, this happens so often and it pisses me off, yeah. He loses the ball, he falls to the floor, acts like he's hurt for 2 minutes, like literally on the floor like this, like a baby cradled up for 2 whole minutes, and that's a long time in a game. And then the other team is just attacking and he's just waiting on the floor. Get up, bro. Like, it's not that you're not some superstar where everyone's going to care that Elanga's injured on the floor and teams are going to stop for you. Like, if you've given a ball away, stop going down to the floor so easily, get up and go back and help the team and get the ball back. That's the least you can do instead of waiting on the floor, crying around, looking for sympathy and trying to beg a free kick. It's not working. Just get up, please. You need to do more if you're in the team. You need to be like more mature. I'd understand if you're smarter and you did it in a place where you might actually be fouled and you might get a free kick. But if you're just doing it every time you get tackled and you go down to the floor, like, it's not going to work. Referees aren't going to buy that. Another negative, look, Rashford, yeah, last week he had an amazing performance, I thought, yeah. He was better than Sancho last week, I thought. And even today's game, you can see a bit more desire compared to last season, I'm saying. A few more challenges, a few more runs in behind. So I don't want to criticise his attitude. I feel like slowly his attitude has improved from last season. Whatever he was going through mentally and physically last season, he's starting to build that back up slowly. I don't want to be on his back too much, but ability-wise, didn't really do much today. Maybe ran in behind a couple times in the first half and then didn't really see him do much for the rest of the game. We'll move on to Sancho. Sancho has big question marks around him now. First half, I saw him getting the ball quite a lot down the left-hand side and he did loads of stepovers, cool, but they were like soft and timid and like they're not going past anyone. He's doing stepovers in front of the player and around the player, but never actually directly going past someone. And there's a lot of times where we can counter, or we've had the opportunity to counter, and the ball gets passed out to Sancho. The rest of the team's pushing up. He's kind of slowly dribbling, going forward a little and then coming back. It's not enough, Sancho, man. We need more from you. There's no aggression, too much tentativeness in your ability, in your dribbling and your running. There's not enough directness. You put Gineppo in our team, for example, at left mid. He probably does a better job than Sancho right now, unfortunately. And obviously he scored that sick goal last week, but more for the team we need. And teams aren't always going to allow us to counter against them. So a lot of the time we're probably going to be in the ascendancy and have more possession. And in that position, Sancho needs to do a lot more. We're depending on him heavily. He's practically our best winger right now, probably because of Elanga and Rashford or Martial. Out of them lot, he's probably the best winger, and we need to expect a lot more from him. So I'm a bit worried, man. I'm not seeing enough from him, to be honest. Other than that, negatives. Second half was a bit of a drab. Didn't really see anything of note. Ronaldo came on. Another thing about Sancho, Ronaldo came on for Sancho in the 65th minute. This shows signs of worry because Ten Hag took off Sancho before Elanga. I personally thought Elanga might have been worse than Sancho, but Ten Hag took off Sancho before Elanga on the 65th minute. That's got to be huge cause for concern for Sancho. Like, he needs to step it up and quickly. Other negatives about the game, second half was drab. Didn't really see any attacks building up. And also for a team, obviously we're fragile right now. We're nervy, especially because of the 4-0 to Brentford. Yeah, you can see that in the players. But no disrespect to Southampton, who did put in a very good shift and who tried to break us down. I credit Southampton. We should be dominating teams against Southampton. We're 1-0 up. Why are we not going for the second? In the second half, it just looked like we sat back after the goal. or we couldn't even get out of our half. We were cramped in our half by Southampton. They're not even that good. Like, they're a decent team, don't get me wrong, but if that's another top 6 team, they're probably going out harder for the second goal rather than sitting back and trying to maintain the clean sheet and get a 1-0. But like I said, I understand we're a bit fragile right now. We're nervy right now, so makes sense. I'm going to go on to my last negative before I mention who I picked for my man of the match. My last negative is a bit of a concern, and it's Bruno Fernandes. I've already mentioned in the positives about his goal. My negative with Bruno, and people know I've rolled out for Bruno for a long time. Well, I've tried to anyway. I've tried to back him at all times because when he came in, he was sensational. Bruno Fernandes now, I feel like it's harming the team a little. He just gets the ball and he forces it too much. And it's just like, relax, bro. Take your time. Like, if you've got time, take some time at least. You don't have to look for the killer ball every single time. And in fact, Eriksen's actually better than him now anyway. If we needed someone to force a pass, I'm going to look for Eriksen to try to force that pass and try to switch it out wide or look for the killer ball. Bruno right now, I think, is best for like pressing and keep the ball ticking over until he gets his mind right and gets his passing ability and focus and accuracy on point. Because for now, he's losing the ball too often, trying to force it too often. We're in good positions, hitting it too hard or under hitting it. And it's not good enough from Bruno. Like, I'm seriously concerned about Bruno Fernandes right now. Obviously, he scored the goal though, so that might people overlook the fact that he kind of had a poor game, or not a poor game. He's very, very average, if not poor. So Bruno is a bit of a worry. And also, this leads me on to my next point about Bruno as well, is the captaincy. For me, maybe I'm old school, yeah. The captaincy is a massive, massive thing and contributes to your team playing well or not hugely, in my opinion. A lot of people might disagree these days, but the captaincy for me is someone that will lead by example, someone will drag you up from when you're playing bad. Let's look at it this way. We see the ball go near Bruno in the air, yeah, and I actually notice this, yeah, he does challenge, but he challenges and it's very half-hearted. It's almost like he's challenging just to put his body there rather than to actually win the ball. A captain should be winning the ball every time he challenges, or trying to win the ball every time he challenges. For example, like Martinez, yeah, every time he goes for the ball, you know that guy's going to get his foot in on the man or he's going to get his foot in on the ball. Bruno Fernandes is just being a bit timid and like, I need more from my captain. Emotionally, I think he's calmed down compared to last season, which is an improvement. So that's one good thing about him. And I feel like he's well liked around the dressing room. That's what the impression we get from like social media and stuff. And he is obviously, you can see he loves the club, like he loves playing for Manchester United. I respect that. But just on the pitch, I don't think he's leading by example enough. And I'll give you another example actually about the Bruno captaincy. There was a free kick on the edge of the box that Eriksen should probably be taking. Like, realistically, Eriksen's probably a better set piece taker than Bruno. But because of Bruno's captaincy and his ego, he decided to take it and he's hit the wall. It's a bit of a detriment to the rest of the team if your captain isn't really putting in captain's performances or isn't behaving like in my opinion, an old school captain. So I think that's a bit of a concern. We'll move on, and I'm going to go on to my Man of the Match award. I was thinking about giving to Casemiro, I'm not going to lie. When he come on with that 18 shirt, I was gassed. I'm buying that 18 shirt with Casemiro on very soon. Just waiting to see our next new signings in the next couple of days to see who else I'm going to buy. Obviously, I'm not supporting the Glazers either. You know, it's coming straight ship from China. Who am I going to give my Man of the Match to? I'm going to give to Martinez. The impact he's had, the aggression he's had. We've kept a clean sheet. It's only our second clean sheet in 15 Premier League games, which is a joke. Breathes a bit of confidence into the back four. Love his support of his teammates. I was close to giving to Malacia, to be honest, because I didn't see no attack coming from our Southampton's right side, our left side. And I thought he had a very good first half. Martinez, my man of the match. Thought he kept the defence held together for majority of the game. We kept a clean sheet. De Gea made one good save, I think. And I think he's, like I said, he's breathed life into this defence again. And he's made defending an art again, and aggressive. and it's just what we need from the back four after a long time. Listen, Maguire, stay away from the team as much as you can. Martinez, my man of the match. Looking forward to our next game, which is against Leicester this Thursday, I believe, and then we got Arsenal the game after. We got Arsenal video coming out next week, by the way, hopefully on Wednesday. Looking forward to the Leicester game away. Leicester aren't in the greatest of form, about to get rid of Fofana as well for 75 mil to Chelsea. It's another game away, and to be honest, I'm looking for 3 points. Today's game, I would prefer the better performance, but we move. It's a team, a different challenge to Liverpool. Didn't have the passion and the hype lived up around it, but it's a team that's a lesser side than Liverpool, and we've turned up at least to get the 3 points. Performance wasn't the greatest, I'd say, but it's an improvement, especially compared to Brighton and Brentford the weeks before. Leicester, I think, will be a very similar game, except they're probably more open than Southampton. So I'm going for I think we should beat Leicester 2-0, 3-0. Should be a pretty comfortable game, in my opinion. I want to see a better performance. I want to see a continuous run of 3 points on the trot. Thanks for watching the video. Like the video, subscribe. Manchester United have won. Share the video. This is my match reaction for Manchester United v Southampton 1-0. We've won 2 games on the trot. 10 Hag's Man United. We're coming for the title. We're coming for top 4. I'm joking. We're coming for top 4. I'd like to think we're going to get top 4 this season. I'd like to think. Stay tuned for the next one. See you soon. Peace out.
Between the lines.